Need to sync up with Ryan to see when he's coming on as well. I know he's had a hectic week or two.
Yeah.
He said he was like, I just need to get through opening day week, and then I should be a little bit better. So
yeah, we can give him a little bit of a break if we want. Give him a couple weeks. All right.
Fired up.
Let me know when you guys are ready.
let's roll, baby.
Let's roll.
Let's ride. Marauders.
Who wants to take lead?
Let's ride.
Go ahead,
Anybody
Dustin.
want to take the lead? All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture podcast. Today we are recording on Tuesday, April 2nd, after the Orioles last night won in walk-off fashion against the Kansas City Royals. But we're going to go back to the beginning of the season. Hot start for the O's, 24 runs in the first two games. Corbin Burnes, Grayson Rodriguez both look great. What do you guys takeaways from the weekend?
It's nice coming out of the box, real hot. Really seems like we just took all the momentum from spring training and brought it back up to Baltimore with us.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to. I mean, it was awesome seeing an ace start for us in the first game. I mean, I don't remember anybody being that dominant. I mean, obviously, stats wise, we know that he's set all the records and stuff. But yeah, that was incredible. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch him the rest of the year. And I mean, Grayson, I only expect Grayson to get better. So it should be a fun season just with those two guys. I mean, I know Wells really didn't pitch that bad in the loss in the third game to the Halos, but I mean, he had one rough inning, and it really wasn't even that bad, to be honest with you. So I mean, he bounced back right after that. So
yeah, the way Hyde used the pitching staff, letting them go X amount of innings, and also letting them get themselves out of jams, was I thought was really admirable.
Yeah, I think Wells gave up 4 runs in the first 2 innings, and then he retired 12 out of 13 to finish his start. So that's how you want to bounce back. Palmer said it on the broadcast. If you give up more runs in the first 2 innings, all you're really trying to do is go 7 and keep putting up zeros and just give your team a chance to win, keep your team in the ball game. Hopefully they can score. Unluckily on Sunday, we weren't able to get those timely hits we needed. But that's all right. It's baseball. It's a long season. We're 3-1.
It's kind of the story with Wells from last year too. I mean, he's terrible run support, but I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's the first game of the year for him too, so it could have been the first couple innings just jitters. So missing spots.
Corbin Burnes, 11 strikeouts on opening day. I was in the crowd, so I didn't get to see much of the game, but obviously I watched the highlights afterwards. Looked pretty nasty. He only gave up 1 hit, and it was that home run in the first inning to Trout. He hung 1 slider, and Trout took it over the wall. I mean, it's Mike Trout. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, 11 strikeouts in 6 innings, just looked completely dominant from what I could see on television. He made Aaron Hicks look so stupid in the first inning. It was really fun to watch the replay of that. Also want to mention that Anthony Rendon was 0 for 11 in that series. Fuck that guy, and I'm really glad that happened. So yeah,
with an error, at least 1 error.
Yeah,
at least 1 error, maybe 2. I can't remember.
Yeah, I do want to talk about Westbrook's walk-off last night, but before that, we got to talk about Craig Kimbrel coming in the 9th inning and blowing the save. We don't like this. Obviously, there's been question marks around Kimbrel all offseason. And we know it's just 1 game, and he's probably going to bounce back. But did you guys watch that game? What did you see out of Kimbrel?
Yeah, when I was at the game last night, I mean, he was consistent between 92 and 94 with his fastball. He warmed up in the bullpen for an extended period of time. I noticed that. And I don't know if that had anything to do with, his performance when he actually got on the bump. Also, I guess we are a little spoiled with Bautista's walk-in because
Yeah.
Kimbrel's is just it's like going to church.
That one of those like opera songs or something.
Worship music.
Yeah, I can't remember what song it was, but it wasn't like loud. They don't flicker the lights like they do with Bautista. It's just once again we're spoiled, and that has nothing to do with performance on the mound. Well, he did warm up for a long time. He actually fired, sat down, fired up again, and then like just stood in the bullpen for another like 5 minutes, and then fired up again before he. So he fired up 3 times before he came into the game.
So I didn't get to watch. I didn't watch the game last night just because I was watching the Caitlin Clark game. I was trying to flip back and forth, but I missed that part of it. Was that because of the comeback, or was that his doing?
It was just an extended the inning, and when he got told to warm up, just took way too long. Nothing he could do about it.
Okay, I was wondering if that's something he did, or if that's just the nature of how the inning went beforehand.
Obviously, great comeback. We love to see the Birds coming back, especially this young team. They got all that resiliency. Mountcastle has looked great so far. He's been hitting the ball hard. It seems like every at bat. And it's tough out here with that left field wall. He hit one in the first or second game that I don't think he could have hit it much harder, and it still didn't go over the fence. But he got one last night over. It's gonna steal 5 to 10 home runs from him. The same thing it did Trey Mancini a couple years ago, which sucks. But Westbrook took one oppo last night in the bottom of the ninth, and that was it. And that's great news. Obviously, Westbrook is like is for any other team would be probably their best prospect. For our team is like kind of getting lost in the shuffle as like our 4th or 5th best prospect. But he's starting off the season swinging the stick pretty well. He had a nice RBI single on opening day as well.
I mean,
it's good to see. Yeah.
I don't know what the attendance was yesterday, but the yard was pretty good for a wet Monday night, especially after a holiday. And I like that they're doing fireworks going off the home runs. Like they do fireworks for every single home run now, as opposed to like just like the big games, like the playoff games or opening day.
Yeah. Yeah, and the energy in the stadium on opening day, just an opening weekend in general. I had friends that were there Saturday and Sunday as well. Was outrageous. It was so awesome being there. Driving up from Ocean City sucked, and the drive back after was even worse. But yeah, it was a lot of fun being at the yard, and it's so nice to have Orioles baseball back. Cowser didn't get a start yet in this first 4 games. Hyde was saying that he was trying to take it slow. He did get pinch hit opportunities in 3 out of the first 4 games, so he's getting in the lineup. Hyde likes to use the bench a lot more than most managers in baseball, I would say. Do you guys take anything away from Cowser not getting a start early in the season, or you think it's just waiting, whatever?
I think he's trying to get the flow for all his main starters, and then he'll work Cowser in. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think he's trying to get him as many at bats as he can right now. I mean, until one of those main guys are due for a day off, then that's when he's going to get a start. I've seen a couple pinch hits, and I know he's had a couple of defensive replacements too, in like the 8th or 9th inning or something like that. But he'll get in here soon in the next probably this series or the next. So
somebody's going to line up tonight.
Yeah. I think they have a righty on the mound tonight, so this will be the opportunity to get him in if Hayes wants a day off, or if they want to throw him in a DH or whatever, give Mountcastle a day off, let O'Hearn play first. But the way Mountcastle's swinging it, I want to keep that bat in the lineup.
Weather looks pretty bleak today, though, so hopefully the game goes off. I'm going again.
Yeah, the next 2 days down here look pretty bad too, so I'm not 100% sure what's going to go on there. Jackson Holiday shuts Mike Elias up, saying he can't hit lefties. Basically, he just absolutely destroys a ball into the ocean in his first game in Norfolk against the lefty. Love seeing that. Obviously, Jackson's going to be up at some point early in the season. We're hoping the earlier the better, obviously, but we'll get him as many at bats as we can while he's getting used to the major league level.
I mean, everybody down there right now. I think I saw the stat from that opening series. Norby and all of them. Norby, Mayo, Jackson, and I'm missing one. Kerstad.
Kierstad. Yeah.
Just put up a monster series. So I mean, good news. I mean,
yeah.
if somebody's slumping, I mean, inevitably Mateo's gonna probably phase out into a utility guy here soon, full time. So
baseball people talk about how hard it is to hit home runs in Norfolk because of the wind coming off the water. So when
I didn't
you
know
see
that.
guys dropping bombs, that means they're really making some serious solid contact.
Yeah.
I've
Speaking of
never been down to
Norfolk,
that stadium. I'd like to go down there one time.
I've never been there either.
Me either.
Crazy. Yeah, maybe we'll have to have a little team trip, AAA.
Yeah.
John Means. Speaking of Norfolk, John Means made his first rehab start. Kind of got shelled. Gave up like 5 or 6 runs in 3 or 4 innings. I don't have the exact numbers here, but I saw him the other day and they didn't look great. But that's all right. His arm didn't fall off like our buddy Sean Foy said. The most concerning thing about John Means is his health. We know he's a great pitcher when he's healthy. So just getting those couple rehab starts in Norfolk and hopefully getting him back on the mound for the Orioles as early as possible is the goal.
Did anybody see what did his velo? Nobody has said like what his velo looked like in that start. That's what I'm more concerned about.
I don't know. That's something I can come back to later. If I can look it up while we're doing this.
Yeah, I don't care about it. I don't care as much about him getting shelled in that first one.
Yeah.
Rather than making sure his velo looks good and he seems healthy. So.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he knows how to pitch, obviously. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Threw a no-hitter a couple years ago, but always a health concern these last few years. So I had to mention that. CNL Perez, our lefty reliever, 15-day DL with an oblique strain. All indications he's going to be fine. We need as many bullpen pieces healthy as possible, as any team does. So we're wishing him a healthy recovery. Kyle Bradish, I don't have this on the notes, but Kyle Bradish threw a 35 pitch bullpen not yesterday or the day before. They said he was throwing all of his pitches. His arm felt good. I'm still skeptical, but look, if he can progress and come back at some point this season, that top 3 is scary with Burns, Rodriguez, and Bradish.
Is he in Baltimore or is he still down in Sarasota?
He's in Sarasota.
I think he's in Florida. Yeah.
I saw he stayed back and somebody else stayed back to keep rehabbing. Maybe it was Means with him, but I know Means obviously went back to Norfolk. But I did see that he stayed in Sarasota to keep rehabbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, also
I can't try to get information on that.
CNL kind of sucks going down because I mean we only have Cologne now as our other lefty in the bullpen, right? Am I missing somebody?
And Keegan Aiken.
Yeah.
Is also left-handed. He's not. He's been kind of up and down the last few years. He's not exactly the guy we want in there, but he can get us. He can get us through for a couple weeks while we're missing CNL. Yeah. If anything else you guys want to talk about Orioles wise before we move on to the rest of the Major League Baseball, or just
I was kind of happy to see McKenna cleared waivers and is now back with the club. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to see him leave. I mean, just because of his versatility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you're Tyler Nevin, are you like, shit, I'm now in Oakland A and I have to go play in the Oakland House?
Yeah, I mean, I would be not very excited. I just went from a World Series contending team to a beautiful ballpark to that.
Oh,
God. I mean, I guess he never really played the game for us. I don't think at Camden Yards. So.
Yeah. Update on John Means. I can't get a velo number, but Hyde did say that his rehab assignment was going to be roughly 30 days. So we're looking at around May 1st return for John Means. So hopefully, if he didn't have the velo, he'll get it back in those 30 days. I'm sure that'll be 4 or 5 starts.
Yeah, the only other thing I had was Gunner's doing Gunner things. Everything. Bat defense has been ridiculous. I mean, I love that guy. The guy just does it all, and is
Yeah.
not a me guy
He's
at all
fun.
either.
He's fun to watch. He plays so much. He plays so hard, and he plays so well with his teammates. It seems like he's always rooting for his teammates. He's like the first guy out of the dugout when somebody hits a home run, kind of thing, which you love to see from your young stud.
Yeah, give that guy all the money. Like that's my
Yeah,
new fit. I mean, he's been
he's
my
your
favorite
guy.
player since he came up. But I mean, I love watching him play baseball.
Yeah.
That play he made on Sunday in the hole. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
that
Unreal.
diving play, yeah, with the absolute fire in it across the diamond. Yeah, that was awesome.
Man, like
Um,
I
little
want to.
quick
I wonder
bad
what the
news for
radar
the
gun was
O's.
on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably up there.
Mid '90s.
Quick bad news. Quick bad news for the O's to start the season. The Yankees swept the Astros in Houston, in a 4-game set. It's the first time the Yankees have started 5-0 since 1992. I looked it up. 1992, they finished 20 games back of the Blue Jays, on a couple games below 500. The Blue Jays obviously went on to win that World Series, and I believe the next one as well, or maybe the one before it. But yeah, Juan Soto went crazy. I think he had like 8 hits in his first 3 games in pinstripes. You guys, you guys have any thoughts? Obviously, I don't think the Yankees are going to be undefeated without Garrett Cole this whole year, but scary lineup with Judge and Soto at the top.
It's not sustainable. It's
Yeah.
not. And it's not sustainable because they have bad ball players. It's because they have Aaron Boone.
Oh, all right. We got a little Aaron Boone hate on this podcast. Are you more of a Brett Boone guy?
Yeah,
Yes.
more of a Brett Boone bat flip guy.
Brett Boone is a 1 seed in the forearm department, along with Matt Holloway.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could throw Luke Scott in there too. Yeah, that guy had forearms.
Jay Gibbons.
Just saying the name Aaron Boone like deflates my shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, New Yorkers have been calling for his job the last couple of years, so this is probably a prove-it year for him. I would assume.
New Yorkers, I mean, they were calling for Joe Torre's job back in the day. They were calling for Joe Girardi's job for a few years. I mean, they're never going to be happy unless they're winning World Series. So
true, but I mean, they shouldn't be missing playoffs either.
Yeah, they certainly shouldn't. With the payroll they have, they should not be. They shouldn't be missing playoffs, especially to teams like the Orioles. But guess what? We got the best farm system ever. It seems like.
Juan Soto looks like he was worth every penny.
Yeah, Juan Soto's. Yeah, he's looking like a stud. He's going to hit free agency this year, or the Yankees are just going to offer him $500 million just so he doesn't hit free agency. It's going to be ridiculous how much money he gets. But yeah, I don't know. I'm scared of him. That short porch and right, he's gonna hit like 45, 50 homers this season. It feels like
he might hit the warehouse.
Yeah, somebody's gonna do it.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, last night I watched most of this game while I was cleaning up at work. But 30-year-old Astros pitcher Ronel Blanco threw a no-hitter last night in a 10-0 win. It was only his 8th start in Major League Baseball. He was not supposed to be in this rotation. Justin Verlander, Jose Urquidy starting the season on the disabled list. And look, this guy gets a spot start. He's the fifth guy in the rotation. He walked the first batter of the game and then got 26 straight guys out. Did you guys get to watch any of this, highlights or anything?
Watched the last 2 innings of the game. You could tell he was gassed.
Yeah.
And I also took away, this has nothing to do with his baseball performance. I do not want to see that guy in an alley. He looks
scary looking guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it, but I mean, that's a little concerning if he looked gas. I saw a stat line. He only threw 105 pitches, which is awesome. And that's another thing I actually forgot that I wanted to bring up was the stat line for Corbin Burns, like with 11 strikeouts, he only threw 80 pitches. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's one of those in the middle of the season. If that's a 3-1 game, I mean, he's going 8 that game.
Yeah.
And that's, something we haven't had in Baltimore in so long. I mean, even with the good pitchers we've had in the past, we've had nobody that could go deep into games. It didn't seem like consistently. So that's a welcome addition.
With the no 105 pitches, that's awesome. I mean, but that's also not awesome that he was gassed after 105 pitches.
I mean, profusely sweating. Maybe he's just a sweater. Maybe he's sweaty Freddie Garcia, but he looked like he ran a marathon.
Yeah, and I mean, in these days, if he was at 105 pitches through 7 innings and he had a no-hitter, he probably would have gotten pulled.
Yeah.
Which sucks. So good for him for keeping the pitch count down enough to get through the game. I think the last guy who threw a really high pitch no-hitter was Irvin Santana, threw like 150 pitches, walked like 6 guys, but he threw a no-hitter.
Johan Santana?
No, it was Irvin Santana. He did it for the Diamond. Johan Santana, I'm sure, threw a couple no-hitters. That guy was ridiculously good.
He threw at least one. I think he might have thrown 2. And he was, after his, let's say, second one, he was never the same person. Like, just net, and because he threw like 155 pitches. The Twins didn't wrong, left him in.
Yeah. Well, look, if you're a pitcher, you're keeping the ball. If you got a no-hitter, they're gonna have to rip it out of your hands.
I want to keep my career.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you went and got paid a ton of money by the Mets after that, so.
Yeah, he did.
Probably
underrated guy. We don't talk about him enough.
I think he won a Cy Young with the Mets too.
I don't know that he won with the Mets, but I know he should have won 3 straight with the Twins. He won 2 out of 3, and the other one, the one he lost, was to Bartolo Colon. It was just on wins and losses. That was before they started looking at ERA and stuff. He had like a half a run less ERA and like 50 more strikeouts than Bartolo, but obviously we love Big Sexy on this podcast, so good for Bartolo for getting that stuff.
Oh yeah, for Canoon. Johan, I mean, this is completely off script, but Johan Santana reminds me, like, in terms of like career lifespan, Tim Lincecum.
Yeah,
2 Cy Youngs.
Same era.
Yeah, same era. 2 Cy Youngs, and they were just like a fucking eclipse. Gone.
Just completely dominant too. Like completely dominant for those couple years.
And I used to love. I mean, Dustin knows 2 of my favorite pitchers at the time were like Johan Santana and Liriano. For the Twins. I loved watching Francisco Liriano, and then I mean he was never the same after he got that injury with the Twins. But they were fun to watch.
All right, I think we've done enough Johan Santana discourse. I love that guy. We will talk about him probably in the future, but we're gonna flip over to some NFL stuff. But yeah, opening day, we're excited. We're excited to have baseball back.
Ownership buying beers. That was awesome.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. That was awesome.
I heard he bought beer. Well, not only at Pickles, but he bought beers for everyone on the Coors Light flight deck multiple times too.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that till afterwards.
Yeah. Quick news in the NFL. Chiefs rookie receiver Rashee Rice involved in some weird situation in Dallas. 6-car accident. There was a Lamborghini and a Corvette apparently racing, caused a big accident. Nobody got majorly hurt. There were 4 people who were treated for minor injuries. But apparently the guys driving the Lamborghini and the Corvette, i.e. Rashee Rice, were fled the scene on foot and were nowhere to be found trying to help people. This situation's super weird. Have you guys read into it at all?
Yeah, I watched a lot on Pro Football talk about this today. They have some of the cars that were at the scene have dash cams that caught them walking away. And then there's video of 2 guys getting out of a car and running away. And what Mike Florio was basically saying is, obviously fleeing the scene, he's going to get popped for that. That's going to be bad. But if he was the one driving the vehicle, that makes it like 3x what the punishment would be.
Yeah, he's going to go to jail.
Yeah.
Now, what Florio also said is these guys have everyone that was involved in these 2 cars that were weaving that they have no reason to talk to the police. Just use your Fifth Amendment right and shut up, and they'll never be able to find out who the driver is.
Yeah,
exactly. You'll never be able to fight. You'll never be able to figure it out. But I mean, I just hated the statement that they came out that his lawyer came out with, that like the people are like in his thoughts and stuff like that. When obviously on all the dash cam footage and all the witnesses there, it said that like they could care less, like they didn't give a shit less, didn't check on anybody.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy, to be honest with you.
Hell goes drag racing at 6:30 in the afternoon. It's freaking rush hour.
Yeah. It's weird and awful. Look, be a good person first and try to help people. Look, I understand you're in the NFL. You don't want to get in trouble, but that kind of decision, man, like you gotta know better than that.
I mean, it's 6:30 in Dallas. It's not like it's 6:30 in Poughkeepsie, New York, where there's not a lot of people on the road. I mean, that's a major metropolitan city.
And more just pisses me off that he was just not. He just didn't care. Like, just didn't give a shit less about anybody else there. Didn't check to see if anybody was injured or anything like that. Like, if somebody was seriously hurt, like, or God forbid, life threatening, he just walked away. Just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Didn't even check.
I mean, one of the reasons I guess they would walk away is were they drunk?
Yeah.
Don't care. I don't care.
Oh, I don't care either.
If you're drunk, dude, take the DUI. Get a personal driver. You're in the NFL.
It doesn't even matter though, to be honest with you, because I mean they can still plead their Fifth Amendment rights whether they're there or not. Like they're just don't tell them who was driving unless they have it on one of the dash cams. Then you're screwed either way. But that just pissed me off. Especially it pissed me off even. I think I wasn't as pissed about it until like I saw the apology from the lawyer yesterday or today, and I'm like, that's just shut the hell up, man.
Well, he definitely he leased the Lamborghini, and they think that he might own the Corvette because there's a video of him driving a black Corvette from his house to the airport when they were getting ready to leave for the Super Bowl. So if he has both cars, I mean, I guess that makes it worse because they're both in his name. It's a shitty situation, so stupid. And also, I didn't think about this till right now. The Chiefs got to be super sensitive to this because with Andy Reid's situation with his son and what he did in going to jail for killing somebody with a DUI, and it's bad. It's bad already, but that makes it even worse.
So the kid, maybe,
not good. Not good looks for Rashee Rice. You got some major explaining to do, buddy. Even worse note, God, we're going to get depressing on this podcast for a little bit. Vontae Davis, former NFL star cornerback, got drafted by the Dolphins, played for the Colts for a few years, found dead in his grandmother's home in South Florida, 35 years old. No signs of foul play, cause of death pending an autopsy. We can speculate. We don't need to. This sucks. Never like hearing this kind of thing.
I mean, I think he's known for two things: retiring during halftime of a game, and the Miami Dolphins Hard Knock season, where he found out he was getting traded, and he was like, "Can you not say anything? I need to go call my grandma." Well, it just stinks. We can speculate, and I mean, I'm sure we all have
thoughts.
Pretty good idea. But
take care. Make sure you call your people. Because you never know. I mean, this guy was my age, so I mean, which is crazy. I mean, check on your friends, say something nice to somebody. But I mean, we can all speculate, but I mean, it's another thing. Like I say it all the time. Like growing up, like nowadays is way different than when we were younger in college and stuff like that. Like you cannot. I mean, I don't know if this is drug related or not, but like you got to be real careful about drugs these days because like it's the difference between life and death right now. That's how bad it is.
We'll transition out of this dark period of the podcast. I'm going to give you guys a little trivia question. You ready? While we're talking about the NFL, the draft's coming up in a couple weeks, so I have a little draft related question. In 2005, two running backs were taken from the same school in the top 5 of the draft. It's the only time two running backs from the same school have been taken in the top 5.
Oh, I
Who
know
were the two
this.
running backs and what was the school?
Hey. All right. I think I have it. No, I don't. No, hold on. Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown, and it was
Correct.
Auburn, right?
Correct. There
So
you go.
I had Cadillac. I remember it was Cadillac and somebody else.
Yeah. Actually, Ronnie Brown went second and Cadillac went 5th, even though Cadillac was the better player prohibitively for Auburn that year. But yeah, freaking crazy. Can you imagine two running backs going in the top 5 at all, let alone from the same school? I remember Nick Chubb and Sony Michel almost both went in the first round, but I
Yeah.
think Sony Michel went late first round and Nick Chubb went at the top of the second or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then
crazy.
was there? Remember that Arkansas backfield? It was like
Yeah,
Run
Darren McFadden, Felix
Peyton.
Jones, I think.
Yeah, I think Felix Jones. Did Felix Jones go in the first round?
And not Marion Barber. Maybe it was Marion Barber. There was a bunch of Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome backfield though. Also, the Auburn Tigers had 2 other first round picks that draft. Carlos Rogers, corner, went to the Washington Redskins, and also quarterback Jason Campbell went to the Redskins. So 4 guys in the first round of that draft. Good for the 05 Tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carson Wentz 1-year deal with the Chiefs. I would assume this means he's going to be Patrick Mahomes' backup. Seems like a good move for the Chiefs. He would be a pretty decent backup. He's not a starter at this point. I don't think. You guys have thoughts on that?
Nope.
Yeah,
No
not
issues with
really.
it.
Not
Fits
moving
their
the needle.
system. Fits their system. Moves around. Like, Mahomes moves around a little bit. Wentz can move around.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Hassan Reddick, edge rusher from formerly now of the Eagles, traded to the Jets for a conditional 2026 pick. It's interesting, 2026. But 3rd round pick, it could become a 2nd round pick depending on his percentage of snaps or his sacks. I think it's like something like 60% of his snaps, or he has to get 10 or more sacks or something like that this year. But the Eagles did sign Bryce Huff, who was an edge rusher for the Jets. So basically they trade edge rushers with the Jets this offseason and they pick up a pick out of it. Reddick is the better player, but he's older. He's on an expiring contract. Now they have Bryce Huff under a better team, a more team-friendly kind of deal.
Yeah.
You guys think this moves the needle either way, or you think this is just kind of Philly trying to shuffle things around and save some money?
I don't know. Reddick wasn't happy in Philly, so you get rid of it's addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good move for the Jets too. I mean, Hassan Reddick is a stud, so
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's good. I think it's good for both teams.
I think if I'm not mistaken, Reddick is a Philly guy. I think he's from Philly. I could be wrong about this, but
he went to Temple.
He went to Temple. Yeah, there you go. Camden, New Jersey, which is right across the bridge from Philly. So he's definitely grew up a Philly fan, I would imagine. But yeah, Eagles and Jets swap pass rushers basically, and the Eagles get a 2026 pick out of it. Yeah, that's all I got for football. I didn't really. I'm sure there's a couple more rule changes that I didn't see, but nothing glaring. Unless you guys have something else you want to talk about before we move on to basketball and Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
No, I don't really have much.
Caitlin Clark, 41 last night against LSU. I watched most of this game. I had the Orioles on one of the TVs at work and this game on the other one. So I was kind of watching back and forth between both of them, but every time I looked up, it seemed like Caitlin Clark was hitting 3. So did you guys get to watch this game?
I was at the Oriole game, so no.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of it. She actually made a lot of mistakes in this game. And I don't watch. I think this is the first time I've watched any of her games from start to finish. But I mean, yeah, she scored 41 points, and that was incredible. I mean, she kind of seems like Kobe Bryant. She throws up a lot of shots for sure.
Yeah.
But She had a good amount of turnovers in this game, so I don't know if that's usual for her, if she just had a bad game, just decision making wise or passing wise. But I mean, a lot more than I would have expected. So maybe it was an outlier. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. Like how, like I said, the first one I watched from start to finish, and she's just throwing up these NBA threes with people in her face and draining them. So for about 50%. So
Yeah, and I think she plays the game a little bit recklessly. I'm sure. I mean, she's still in college. She'll get better at this as she moves into the WNBA. But
yeah,
I
I think
mean, yeah,
her
I think
coach probably gives her the autonomy to be like, hey, if you feel like you got a
yeah,
shot, like just don't keep throwing them up. Like
yeah.
it's gonna be.
I mean, look,
I feel like the only thing that's gonna handcuff her or them from winning is if she just goes cold, which
yeah,
happened last year in the national championship because I think she missed like 19 threes or something.
yeah. Shoot or shoot, man. You got to keep shooting regardless. Look, she's the best one of the best women's shooters we've ever seen. She's like changing the perception of women's basketball single-handedly right now. So I guess I shouldn't say single-handedly. Angel Reese had 17 and 20 for LSU. She's dominant inside.
Actually, she would
But
have had a lot more if she didn't turn her ankle, probably.
yeah, I didn't watch the game as closely as Brooks, so he probably he has more insight there. But I'll tell you what, this Kim Mulkey lady, this LSU women's coach, she is ridiculous. What
Yeah.
like the stuff she's wearing and the stuff she's saying in the media. I mean, good for her for being herself, but I think she's freaking insane. You guys have thoughts on her?
I've never been a fan of hers, just her demeanor. I was never a fan of Bob Knight, and she reminds me of the female version of Bob Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never a fan of Pat Summitt because of there's no control on the sideline, but you're asking your players to have discipline. And so I never
Yeah.
fan. She brought more attention to this article that came out about her from the LA Times than this.
It was
probably wouldn't have been
Washington
a big.
Post. Sorry, yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
This really wouldn't have been a big deal. She made it a big deal.
Well, I guess I understand. And I didn't know this either until I listened to a podcast this morning. Actually, I guess she made it a big deal because whatever the name they called her, like Debbie debutantes or whatever like that, like somebody like looked up like what the hell does that mean? And apparently it's like a porno. Like, and I think that's why it pissed her off.
What the hell does that have to do with her coaching basketball games?
I have no idea. I have no idea. And another thing that I heard from this morning was like, I guess I don't know if it was the same article or a different article, like went all into her personal life. Like basically almost seems like a smear campaign. Like she hasn't talked to her dad, like you're falling out with her dad, hasn't talked to her dad in 30 years. Her and her sister have no communication because they don't get along and stuff like that. So I don't know it seems like somebody's trying to put a smear campaign on her or something right now. So
That's just it's uncalled for. You don't need to do that. I mean, like, did we bring up that Aaron Rodgers doesn't talk to his brother? Like, no.
No. Well, some people do. But anyway, I was playing UConn now. They're 2.5-point favorites in the Final Four, and then the other Final Four game will be South Carolina, NC State. South Carolina prohibitive favorites in that game at 11.5. I'm not going to make picks because I don't watch the games enough to be educated. But look, I'm rooting for Caitlin Clark. She's the story of the season. She's the story of the year in women's basketball. So let's see her go all the way, and hopefully she can. On the men's
I'm rooting
side,
for her too because I think that'd be cool to see like her senior year go out with a national championship. Like
yeah,
she's propelling the women's game almost not single handedly, but she was one of the main drivers for sure.
Yeah.
And if I was betting, I'd probably bet against Iowa in any game just because I feel like the books are probably like, yeah, we have all these new eyes on women's basketball. Nobody's watched any of these teams, and they're probably just betting Iowa this game. So
Yeah.
I would imagine they're trying to get people off of betting on them.
Yeah.
I would take Connecticut to win outright. I mean, Paige Beckers is a really, really good player, and
She's averaging 37 points a game in the tournament.
Yeah, She's the third
Yeah.
best player in college basketball. Bow. What the hell? Where the hell did that come from? Bow. She's the third best player in college basketball behind Caitlin Clark and Juju Watkins. So I mean, and Connecticut is really getting hot at the right time. And like Brooks said, Iowa seems to be a one-man show, a one-woman show. So Caitlin Clark has an off night. They might beat him by 20.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they don't have any like height at all. Like if uh, it's Reese, if Angel Reese gets the ball in the post every single time that game, like she just dominated everybody down there. She was taller than everybody down there. So
Yeah, I think she does that. She did that most of the season. She's just pretty much a dominant force inside. But yeah, Paige Buckets versus Caitlin Clark in the Final Four. That's going to be interesting to watch.
I honestly
And yeah,
enjoyed
like I
watching
said,
that game. I enjoyed watching that game more than the men's game. Like it was so fast paced
really,
and like they shoot the ball really well. Like it
yeah, they
was.
do.
I really liked watching that women's game. To be honest with you, and I was surprised about how much I was like. I kind of like this better than the men's right now. But I mean, our men's team isn't fun to watch. So
The, the
Yeah,
ball the ball moves a lot more in the women's game. Like it's the actual fundamental. It's like watching the Princeton offense or something,
it was
as
just more
opposed.
entertaining, and like they
Yeah,
shoot the ball well. Like I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know what it. I can't put my finger on exactly what it was, but I was like, and also from what the announcers were saying, they were like the pace of this game is like ridiculously high, even though they are high paced teams. But I was like, this is like action
yeah.
nonstop.
Do you think it was because there was not was there a lot of free throw breaks or something like, or was it
Not
more of
much.
like, yeah, I think that
It seemed, yeah,
that's better. Yeah, like the pacing of the game, it just flows a lot better when you're not shooting free throws every 2 seconds. Like the NBA is terrible with this now, and they've
that's a
actually
good
made a
point.
concerted effort in the NBA to stop calling so many fouls and to let them play a little bit more and get the games going quicker. But yeah, I think that's a
That's a good
problem with
point.
basketball in general.
That might have been what it was. Why I liked it so much more because there really
Yeah,
wasn't a ton of free throws until like obviously when you need to start like fouling and stuff like that.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, that I can think of, there wasn't a ton. They were letting them play, so
yeah.
that could be a good call.
Yeah. We'll transition over to the men's side. NC State continuing the Cinderella run. DJ Burns against Duke. They were down by 7 when I left for work, and then when I got to work after counting my register and everything, I looked up at the TV and they were up by 8. I don't know what happened. I didn't get to watch that little part of the game, but obviously they went on some sort of a run and they kept Duke off the glass pretty well. Did you guys get to watch that game? Do you think they can match up against Purdue, or you think Purdue's going to kind of dominate?
watch the game, and it just seemed like every Duke possession was a grind, and NC State kind of had a free flow to them, kind of like what we were talking about with the women's game here a moment ago. Although they were just having a lot more fun. Now, being up by 8 is fun, right?
Yeah,
But even when they were down by 7, it looked like they didn't flinch. This Burns kid is a left tackle. Um, and I do think, to your question, Dusty, I do think he could give Edie problems just because of his flat out girth. I
yeah,
think he's
You have to.
only 6'9", but and Edie being 7'4", but I mean he can body. So
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing he can do with him really because he doesn't have the length to get up to try to shot block him or anything. But yeah,
yeah,
I still think I think Edie's going to end up dominating him unless he can keep him pushed away from the basket a little bit. But yeah,
yeah. I'm interested to see how they try to handle Edie and Burns. It's going to be that's going to be interesting. But yeah, Purdue just looks dominant. And Edie, what did he put up 40?
yeah, but this goes back to the Caitlin Clark thing. If Edie gets in foul trouble, they're screwed.
Purdue's in trouble. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think they have any
yeah. I
big
guess.
guys that are worth a damn besides him that I can think of off the top of my head. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bad shooting in that Duke NC State game and in that Purdue. I don't know. I forget who they played.
Gonzaga.
Who?
Yeah, I
Gonzaga.
have it right here. So they played Tennessee.
Tennessee. There
Tennessee,
was
yeah.
some bad shooting. Other than that one kid from Tennessee, it was awful. Wow.
Yeah.
That dude's good. Connect or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, next game is UConn versus Bama. UConn, Illinois was looking like a really good game. It was like 32-33, and then UConn went on a 30-0 run in the middle of the game. A 30-0 run in the Elite Eight. UConn, I mean, look, this line versus Alabama is 11.5. Good for Alabama for getting it this far, but they're giving up like 90 points a game in the tournament. UConn's going to put up 1,000,000 points. I don't know how they're going to stop them.
That game, it looked like a bulldozer was going downhill, and the entire team was trying to stop it and just couldn't.
Yeah.
If you're betting anything, bet on UConn right now because the floodgates are open with them. They have not covered a spread in 10 games now in the last 2 years in the NCAA tournament, and none of them have been particularly close to even coming close to the spread. So
yeah,
I would keep riding it till they don't do it.
Yeah.
And I don't see that changing. I think this is another blowout. I know Alabama likes pace, but so does UConn. So
yeah. The only way Bama wins this game is if they just huck a ton of threes and get lucky.
Yeah.
Really, that's going to be their that's going to be their recipe to win. But I'm thinking 9 times out of 10, UConn's going to win this game pretty handily. I will
be a UConn Purdue national championship.
I'm thinking I'm going to be chalk. I'm going to go UConn Purdue, and I think UConn's going to win handily.
I'm going against you. NC State, UConn.
I would like to see NC State do it. I think that'd be awesome story wise, but I just don't know. It's going to depend on ED really.
They're still 15-1, by the way. You can so before the tournament, you can get NC State at 150-1. They've got to win 2 games. They're 15-1. I think that's pretty crazy odds. UConn's favored to win, but yeah, I mean, if you like NC State and you believe in the hype, 15-1 still a pretty good number. They just got to win 2 games.
I understand the momentum ends when they all go back to the school, when they go back to their respective schools and then come back to what Phoenix, I think, is where the Final Four is. So the momentum ends, but Purdue seems like they feel pressure to win. NC State doesn't give a damn because they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I think that plays.
Yeah. Well, I guess the flip side of it is like Purdue's pissed off and sick of hearing about it, so they're just playing like a.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I would like to see NC State, but my pick is Purdue.
Yeah. Golf this weekend. I don't know if you guys watched any of this. Scottie Scheffler definitely should have won this tournament.
This is a
on Saturday. On Sunday he missed a 5-footer to tie it up to send it to a playoff, but on Saturday, or maybe it was Friday, earlier in the tournament, he had a 3-putt from 1 foot. He lipped out a 1-foot putt and then went up to the ball and just hit it without looking at it and missed it. He should have won this tournament. It would have been his 3rd straight tournament win, which would have been the first time anybody's done that since Dustin Johnson did it in 2017, when he went crazy and just won the last 3 playoff tournaments at the end of the year. But yeah, Scheffler T2, his last 3 starts, first, second. He's not playing this week in the little Masters tune-up. I guess this past week was his Masters tune-up, but he's going to be the prohibitive favorite going into the Masters. I would imagine his odds are probably something like 5-1, which is stupid and something you can't really bet. But yeah, he looks crazy good. Did you guys get to watch that putt or any golf this weekend? No.
Not much. I did see the ending of it. Flashback by Scheffler's wife going up to Yeager's wife and congratulating him and saying how happy she was for him for his first PGA Tour win. So
yeah,
that was pretty.
And this is a huge deal for him too, because this grants him this gets him his PGA Tour card through 2026. So look, you win 1 tournament and you got a job security for 3 years. And it also gets him into the Masters, the PGA Championship, I think he still has to earn his way into the U.S. Open and the British Open, but with all the FedEx Cup points he got, he will probably be into all 4 majors and into the Players the next couple years. So good for him. We like to see the guys on the fringes make some moves.
I know we're gonna do our Masters preview next week, but any of our favorite golfers not going to the Masters? Like, is Ricky? Like, I remember Ricky didn't go a couple years ago.
We didn't know.
I don't know off the top of my head. That's something I have to do research for next week.
Okay.
Not that I can think of. The only one I would say that would have a chance of not going was Thomas, but he hasn't fallen that far down to not be able to go yet.
Yeah, he's
Fowler's fine. Fowler's fine with the way he's played last year. But yeah, the only reason Fowler didn't go a couple of years ago was because he couldn't go.
Yeah, the perennial Thursday Masters leader Charlie Hoffman might not be in the field. If he would have won that tournament that Nick Taylor won me all that money on, he might have made his way in. But he's the only guy I can think of off the top of my head. But every time he gets into the Masters, he will be winning after Thursday, and then he will just completely collapse. But he'll shoot 65 on every Thursday at the Masters, no matter what. Yeah, this week it's the Valero Texas Open, which I just call the Masters Tune-Up Tournament. A lot more top players playing this year. I think in the last few years, the top players have decided to take the last couple weeks before the Masters off in between the Players and the Masters. This year, a lot of the top guys playing. TPC San Antonio, I think they upped the purse. The purse is up by $10 million, something like that. So it gets a couple more guys playing. Rory, Ludwig Aberg, Spieth, Matsuyama, Homa, Fitzpatrick. So a lot more guys, recognizable names, should be at the top of this leaderboard. The only person I have noted down for a possible bet is Corey Connors at 25-1. Maybe don't take him to win, but top 20. He won here last year. He's been in good form at this tournament. And he's Canadian, and Canadians have been treating us well in this podcast. So, but yeah, when Masters is next week, so we'll be doing some Master stuff. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about that sports wise today?
Saw Tiger got to Augusta yesterday, a couple days ago.
Yeah, a couple days ago. He always does the couple weeks beforehand. He'll go over and scout the course as if he hasn't played it 600 times, but.
Yeah, how does that work? Like, guys allowed to go down that won the Masters, go down and play whenever they want?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the players can too. Like, I would imagine Rory and Scheffler and all those guys. Like Scheffler's not playing this week, so I'm sure he's probably going to be going down there this week. But I would imagine Rory went down there. Usually, last time Tiger went there, he went with Charlie and Justin Thomas, and they flew down there and played. So yeah, I think they can kind of come and go as they please.
If I'm not mistaken,
they've been a lot more open.
If you win it, you get a lifetime membership there or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just didn't know if you could just go play whenever you want. Like, if they wanted to go play 2 weeks ago, like Tiger's down there 2 weeks in advance.
I'm sure Tiger could
do whatever he wants.
I don't know if everyone could. Yeah. I'm sure
or whoever's
Tiger
playing
called
with Tiger.
Augusta National and was like, "Hey, I'm Tiger. I'm going to be there." They would cancel everyone's tee times for the same. Yeah, I'm excited. Masters. This weekend we got WrestleMania in Philly. Too. The Rock's going to be there. It looks like Stone Cold's going to be there, so that's pretty fun.
That's your cup of tea right there. It's a 2-day event. It looks. This is the first time it's been 2 days.
I think they've been doing it for like 2 years. Yeah, a couple years they've been doing 2 days, which is probably better than putting people in a stadium and making them watch wrestling for 8 straight hours. I think you get pretty sick of it after that. But
wrestling is making a massive comeback.
Yeah, it's crazy without Vince McMahon in the middle of it too. And I thought you would have thought Vince McMahon would be the spearhead.
The CEO now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else for this week.
Old Rock is back. Like, the Rock is in every day.
Yeah,
which is not. I mean, it's nice.
He brought back Attitude Era Rock.
When's the last time The Rock was like I mean, I know he's probably like the biggest box office star, but I can't think of a movie that's come out in the last 5 years that I really wanted to go see that he was in.
Nah.
A couple like comedy movies with Kevin Hart, I'm sure did really well, but that's not stuff that I'm into.
Yeah. I speaking of movies, I went and saw Ghostbusters.
Oh,
Uh,
dude,
I loved it. There's so much nostalgia. They
you
brought it back.
loved it?
I
Oh,
loved
I
it.
saw it too. I didn't like it.
It was so cheap, but I don't give a damn. They brought back all the old people. Like
Yeah,
they even brought back Annie Potts. They brought back
yeah,
the library dude.
yeah,
Like I dug it. It's
yeah,
you go in knowing it's gonna be all cheese.
yeah.
Who's the who they have playing the main character in the now?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, yeah.
Paul Rudd, and one of the kids from Stranger Things is in it too.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the girl's name is that's in it. Yeah.
I did see
Anyway, I don't know.
I did see a preview while we were there. This movie Civil War it's coming out April 12th looks diesel.
Civil
Who's in it?
War.
Anybody
I don't
know?
even I didn't not anyone I really no big name, but it's about like Americans fighting Americans, like blowing up our own capital and stuff like that. It's pretty wild.
No, modern day.
Modern day.
Kirsten Dunst is the main character, and Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman is playing the president of the United States.
I'll see it.
So
just,
that's going
I'll
to be a
just see it just
fantastic
because of that.
movie. Yeah, I saw Ghostbusters. I didn't love it. It was too cheesy for me. I saw the first reboot that came out a couple years ago, and I liked it. So I went to see that one, and I wasn't a fan. But look, it's a popcorn movie. Whatever. Go watch it. Have some fun. Take your family. Yeah, that's all I got for this week. We're probably going to be doing 2 shows next week with the Masters, and we also have an interview with Brooks's college coach, John Sheehan. So if you guys have any questions for him or interested in that, we're going to be doing that next week. We'll have that up by the midweek, and then Masters starts next Thursday. And obviously we're going to keep watching the Orioles every day. I'm really excited for baseball season. We're playing again tonight.
Hopefully.
By the way, Bobby Witt, just a quick note, Bobby Witt got that big contract in the offseason. Last night was the first time I've really gotten to watch him, and he looks real good.
That ball was smoked.
Yeah. He also had a stolen base too. So look, he can do it all.
They had some guy at the top of their lineup. I forget his name. He had a single to center field and turned into a double. And I don't know how the hell he did that because he came out of the box so fast.
Oh, I also didn't realize that I'm blanking on the name of their catcher.
Salvador Perez.
Salvador
I didn't
Perez,
realize he hit. I mean, I didn't realize he was still playing at the level that he was playing. First of all, and he hit 48 home runs like 2 years ago. Like I thought
he led the league in homers.
How old is this guy?
He's like 36, probably.
40.
If I had to guess.
He's still catching.
I feel like I've watched him forever now.
He's not catching quite at the level he used to be. Defensively, he's been kind of doing catching and DHing. He's 33, so not quite as old as you'd think.
Wow.
Just seems like he's one of those guys that just seems like he's been in the league for 100 years.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of who the catcher was for the Royals before him. Can you?
Oh, Greg Zahn.
Greg Zahn. Oh my God. That's a throwback. I haven't heard that name in forever. Yeah, well, thanks for doing this, guys. Thanks for listening. If you're still tuned in. Yeah, and we'll be back on a couple times next week to talk some sports and talk some Masters.
Cool. See you, everybody.
Cheers, fellas. Yeah, absolutely.